Cool. All right. This is a strange way to set it up, but This is the start of my Japan video series where I'm going to be reading from this book, which is my travel diary. Nice little cover design. Got it for Christmas from my parents. Um, and I've detailed each day as to what happened. Not in overly specific details, but in a good general premise, so it gives you and myself and future readers or watchers a good context for what is happening in the video and what you're seeing. So this will be cut together with the actual footage from my trip, plus some photos or videos taken on my phone as well, not just from my camcorder, of which I'm recording right now. I'm using the Blue Yeti microphone on cardioid to give myself the best kind of voice I can, and I'm wearing my Godzilla t-shirt because it's cool. So yeah, let's kick into the groove. So I'm just going to record each of these segments as different days. I don't know if they're going to be combined with other days through the trip. We'll see how it goes. So, alrighty, let's get started. So hello, I'm Julian. Welcome to, I guess, Japan Story Time is, I guess, what I'm calling this series. I don't know. Who really cares? I went on a 2-week-long trip to Japan with my dad at the start of June in 2019. And this is an event of, recalling event of what happened. Cool. So, Japan Day 1, Tokyo, June 1st. Landed at 9:30 a.m., took an hour or so to collect baggage, because customs and stuff, internet modem, and train tickets. So we got Japan Rail passes that we could use for 14 days, which is a big cardboard piece of paper. Hopefully there will be an image on screen, because I don't have it on me. And we had to show that at a lot of the JR sections of the rail line, because there are multiple sections to each rail line, which is kind of annoying, but it pretty much gave us free access because we'd already paid like a few $100s for this pass. It's like if you were to buy a yearly long Mikey card from Victorian Metro. I don't know, it's hard to compare. But it's a train pass, pretty much. The internet modem gave us 999.9 gigabytes of internet, so we could use connected to our phones and just post on Facebook, look at Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media applications we have attached to our phone. Simple as that. Yeah, so we had luggage, so we had our day packs with us, which were just the regular backpacks. I had a Kathmandu bag that I used for uni, and we had a very big bag as well that would carry the extra luggage as well as, clothing and other accessories and whatever. We took Japan Airlines, I think it was, JPL. Yeah, I think that's JAL, Japan Airlines, that's the one, JAL. Alright, cool. We took a train from the airport in Narita to Ikebukuro. I'm bad at the pronunciation, so I apologize for that in advance. This was in Tokyo, and we went straight to our ryokan, which is a traditional Japanese-style household kind of thing, where it's a hotel in this case, but you sleep on the floor, on a bed on the floor, like without all the stilts and stuff, like you do with most westernized beds, and it was just a mattress and then one big sheet, which is pretty much a doona. Yeah, and we weren't allowed to wear our shoes inside. We had to take them off at the very front of the house, and we had to wear slippers for the rest of the ryokan, which was quite nice. This was more of a modernized ryokan, the Kimi ryokan, so it had less of the specific one-on-one stuff. It was more of, this is a big like 5-story building where multiple people can stay in multiple rooms plus communal bathrooms. Whereas later in our trip we had a ryokan that was specific to us. Oh my god.
Oh.
Imagine meeting you here.
Oh, yeah, that's spooky. Where are the beds?
They are the beds.
Oh, the fanciest thing in the world. Oh, ha, look at this. Boom, it's a window. Boom, it's a fence. Look, it's Japan. There are people. Okay, there aren't, but like there could be. There is a bird. There's a bird out there, that's for sure.
Sure there is.
So this is the first room we're staying in for like how many days? 4 days. Cool. And this is in...
Ikebukuro.
That's the one. That's the one, Ikebukuro.
Yes,
Yep.
which is the suburb of Tokyo.
Yes. Cool. I've got too much shit. It's good. Bye.
So we saw a lot of rice paddocks on the train ride. It was quite a lot like My Neighbor Totoro, which was quite fun, like to look at all of Japan and be like, wow, this really does look like the anime. Which was rather amusing to look at. Now, kind of daunting as well. I was like, shit, does that mean they're going to be big spirit things in the trees and whatever? My imagination was going a bit too far at the time. Tokyo is very grey and brown, with a very 90s look, which apparently there was a very big boom in the 90s for their kind of architecture and their design. Plus, a lot of their buildings are made of concrete to reinforce from earthquakes. Which makes sense. So I'd say that the countryside and all of the nature is gorgeous. It's a beautiful landscape, and the majority of it is mountains and forests, which is rather appealing. The city is quite nice too, but I think more of the technological neon side to it, very Blade Runner-esque, is also, I think, is the nicest part of the cities, because most of the cities do look very yuck in their architecture and their design, but each building still looked quite unique somewhat to it, and, nothing was really so replicated, whereas in Australia we have a lot of brick houses, they have just concrete, but it's nice. Their interiors are definitely better than their exteriors, but I don't want to be too critical. I mean, it is a different kind of culture and whatever. So the trains were very fast and very comfortable, especially from someone like myself who experiences motion sickness and who has to catch Australian trains, which are totally great. These trains in particular actually have these trains that we were on was like a coach, so you had proper seats that you could sit on with seat belts if you needed them. I don't think the trains had seat belts, depends on the train, but it had, like the airplane stuff. You had the extra tray and stuff for your cups and whatever, PowerPoints to the side, pretty cool. And we the public trains had a lot of the things you could hold on to, and they were all either triangle or circular shaped, which is quite nice. I don't think they were triangle, they may have all been circular. Yeah, for the most part they were all circular, which is quite nice, and there's a lot of them. Yeah, so there's a lot of standing room on local trains, hardly any seats, and if there were seats, it was on the very side of each carriage. Yeah, so there was at least one hanging ring per person.
この列車は成田エクスプレス16号です。1号車から6号車は大船行き、7号車から12号車は池袋行きです。途中、東京に停車いたします。東京を出ますと、1号車から6号車は品川、武蔵小杉、横浜、戸塚と終点大船に停車いたします。7号車から12号車は渋谷。
Yeah, now I get to act like a real tourist. Look at me, my sweet ass video camera. Hey. Steady now. It's steady enough. Otherwise I would have brought my tripod, but then there's like no point in that. It's like a whole extra space for no reason. Count down too, so you don't know how long you've got. Oh, nice. Oh no, we've got 2 remaining.
finally saw the food in the window display. This being at restaurants, they have food that they display in the window. It's all plastic made food, but it pretty much shows you, like, especially tourists, like, oh, this is what you could eat here, like this kind of ramen, or this kind of sushi, or this or that, or this just kind of platter in general. Makes for much easier window shopping, because you're like, I want to eat that, let's go inside and eat that. Yeah, so it was goofy, but it was efficient. We journeyed to the train station for a 4-day pass, so this being the main Tokyo station. I believe, actually, it may have been Ikebukuro that we actually got it there. Yeah, it was. So we actually discovered a Godzilla pop-up shop with a 1954 film poster t-shirt, which I bought because, I mean, come on, the first thing I bought in Japan, of course, had to be a Godzilla shirt. But they had a whole bunch of stuff because, of course, Godzilla King of the Monsters had just come out, so you had all of that, plus you had toys and a big Godzilla statue, which I took a picture in front of. Well, Dad took a picture of me in front of. And they had a whole bunch of special-made t-shirts just for King of the Monsters. They also had Godzilla chopsticks, in which my dad actually purchased. Except he didn't purchase it there, he purchased it later on the next day at the Toho Cinema. We took an underground train to Sensoji. God, I'm going to butcher these names. So Sensoji Temple and Asakusa Market.
Oh shit, I didn't even see it. The bloody sign was in the way. There's a sign, it's a giant sign. Look, there's even bloody... I know. Oh, here they go. And the bus is taking up hopefully into the food shop.
So there was a very old temple, and the market was quite intense for the amount of people that were there. You could buy food, but you couldn't eat it there. You had to eat it in the side streets, which was quite interesting, because it was like, don't take up room, we'd need more tourists, which is fair enough. And it's quite a famous place in Tokyo as it is. From there, we actually saw the Tokyo Sky Tree from a distance, which is a very, very tall building. I bought items for my best friend and some colleagues, as well as a geisha bobblehead for my brother's girlfriend, plus a skeleton painting for myself, because it was goddamn awesome. We ate deep fried pork balls, and a chocolate ball for lunch, so that was, very healthy, but they were quite delicious, actually. And of course, I filmed at the temple, so footage should be playing right now.
They look like anime characters. Yeah. Oh, dude, there's a guy dressed up as a samurai. What the hell? Then there's another temple. Then there's a garden, and then there's a thingy. Oh, it went away. More vending machines. Just more. So what you're saying, this tree?
Yeah,
Sakura. So in springtime it'll be pink.
it was. I have a picture of it.
Yes. There's physical evidence.
There it is.
That's what it used to
tree.
look like. That was that tree.
But it was a very busy attraction. And, we got to look at the garden there as well, which had a lot of ritual elements, a stone tablet and a fish pond, plus a small waterfall. The temple had a tower, 2 main buildings, and 2 gates dividing it from the market. So there was a gate that entered you into the market and a gate that entered you into the temple, which is regularly how they would do things. They usually always have a big gate in front of the temple. Sometimes it would be a torii, sometimes it would just be an actual big constructed gate with the big stone statues of dudes or a bell or something. So we took a train then from to Tokyo Skytree. We saw the size of the tower from below, which was mighty impressive, and this was my first week there, so of course I was saying very, very big swear words at the size of these buildings. It was quite immense. But on our way up, we found the Pokemon Center with a shelf display full of Pikachu plushies, which was incredible. I bought myself, I bought 3 plushies. I bought a Ditto for myself, a Pikachu intended initially for my younger brother Noah, but I then gave it to myself because I was able to find him a Charizard later on the trip, which he actually wanted. And it wasn't a Lucario, it was like the previous evolution of Lucario. It'll be on screen now. I bought that for Sam because that's what he wanted. Well, he wanted a Lucario, but there wasn't actually a Lucario, but that was alright. He rather enjoys the toy anyway, so it's good. We saw a giant Pikachu walk and dance around the store, which was fun. Like, it saw me taking pictures and it waved at me, which was very cute. Then we went to the Skytree. The elevator went up 350 meters in height, which really, my ears, not having fun. Airplanes, not great. And then, of course, a bloody elevator so fast and all the way into the air was shockingly bad for my ears. But of course, it had a beautiful view. It was quite a cloudy day. In fact, it was a very cloudy fortnight that we were there. There were some days with beautiful blue skies, but then because it was summer, you had a lot of heat. It was very early summer, so it wasn't too hot, but the humidity definitely took a toll on me in the first few days, especially having just come out of Australian winter. So because it was too cloudy, we weren't able to see Mount Fuji, but we were able to see the market that we had just been at, and the Tokyo Tower, that is famously featured in a hell of a lot of Godzilla films. Plus we saw Disneyland from a very distance, but you couldn't actually really tell it was Disneyland. All you saw was a big Ferris wheel. We took another elevator because we bought the special pass so we could go to 450 meters in height. And I will show you a video now. Then we traversed the Hello Kitty Museum and collected our first stamps for the trip, which I'll show you Actually, I can show you right now. Because they actually have stamps all over their some of their locations. So as you can see here, you have some Hello Kitty and a Skytree at the top. I don't remember what the other one at the bottom was. They have like different characters as well as Hello Kitty. So that was quite fun. So we got to, spam our books of that. Some of them, of course, didn't come out, perfectly, so I don't even know what half of them are. But for the most part, it worked quite well, which was rather fun. So we after finishing on the tower, wasn't too long there, enough to see dusk and some beautiful, the sun going over the city, which was very nice. We then took more trains back to the ryokan and collected more stamps, actually, which I believe I believe it was these 2 pages here. Again, no idea. There's some kind of station. One is called Hongo Sanchome. Sanchome? Yeah, sure. Yeah. But yeah. They literally just had them all over the train station, sometimes, or touristy locations, whatever was best. We rested for a small period, then went to Shinjuku late in the evening. This was where I experienced the Tokyo nightlife, Shinjuku being a very famous place for its nightlife. We got lost originally because we got off the wrong side of the station, and because Dad had this is his third trip over to Japan, he couldn't remember where we exactly was, and the modem had just died. Luckily, I was able to find some free internet from conveniently an actual big retailer, which I won't mention the name of, and we were able to figure out where we were, and we were literally on the wrong side of the station, but we just took a walk for a few blocks, and we were there, in the peak area of Shinjuku. when we got back to the proper location in Shinjuku, we actually found the Godzilla Hotel with the giant Godzilla head next to a King of the Monsters poster, which was rather amusing to look at because of course the poster looked right at the monster and the monster looked right at the poster, which is kind of, it seemed in its own way to be some kind of a symbolism allegory kind of thing. It's like, what's it trying to say? But of course it's just the alignment was just very nicely done. We went into the Toho Cinema, and of course I bought a Godzilla figure with a Shin Godzilla keychain. I witnessed the Lion King trailer in Japanese dub, which was, I'm still not going to watch the film, but I found that rather interesting. Collected promotional posters, which I had a whole handful of free promotional posters, just smaller than A4 size, that you could bring home, all in Japanese. It's just amazing the kind of stuff that they have there. They also had a Godzilla booklet, but I'll get back into, because we go back to that cinema the next day, and of course I will detail that. And we had a sushi for dinner, because I think that was at the bottom of the tower, the Toho building. There was a sushi restaurant. I'm like, I want to have sushi, like traditional proper sushi that isn't, bought in a plastic bag or plastic anything really. Then we just took the train back to Ikebukuro, and we slept for the night. Again, because of the humidity, it was kind of hard to sleep, but for the most part, it was a very interesting and fun first day. I didn't feel like I was in Japan until I probably got to Shinjuku, because it's been a tourist. I haven't been overseas since maybe 2013. Like it's been or maybe even 2011. Like it's maybe 2011. Like it's been more than 5 years since I last went overseas, and it kind of trips you out, especially now that I'm an adult. I can drink, I can do all kinds of things that I couldn't do beforehand, and I had a lot more independence, my own money that I'd saved up from work, and it was really fun. But overall, the trip was rather satisfactory, and I quite liked the day. So yeah, I think this will be enough for one video. This being my first day in Japan. Some days I might film, which will be a collaboration of days, because some days we were just taking the train a lot of the time, or a lot of transport, or I fell asleep, or however it goes. But yeah, so that was part 1 of multiple parts. This is going to line up for the rest of my channel for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So if you don't like Japan, sorry. I'm trying to make these videos as interesting as I can with this extra stuff, instead of just having montage cuts with no context. And yeah, so thank you for watching part 1. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more, because of course there are multiple parts to come. This channel also features a whole bunch of film related stuff, so there's more than just this Japan stuff. But I wanted to really detail my trip, because I know a lot of people are interested in it, both subscribers, family, and friends. So yeah, see you next time in day 2, where we go to Mount Fuji and go back to Toho Cinema and watch a movie. Ooh, spooky. Nice teaser. Yeah. Bye.
Like, this is just kind of mental. Love.